uh, uh, basically then you have a feedback loop that tells the body what it needs, how to cause the homeostasis. This is the advantage of having a technology that is a signal versus just injecting hormones. Because when you inject hormones, you don't know how many hormones the body actually needs, and of course some of it will be excreted, but still, you don't know, it's not the body doing the job basically. Here it's the body very neatly, knows exactly what it needs, it gives the feedback loop, everything is organized in that cycle of the body. So you have the growth hormone as well, that from the pituitary gland, it's going to go to the muscle, and basically does it by becoming IGF-1 in the muscle and the liver, and it's the IGF-1 is how it's been kind of transformed that will cause the muscle growth and also will cause the bone growth. And that's where we've seen the DHEA disease involved. And we have seen increased concentrations of growth hormone, D3, and DHEA. So here is the lipolysis and the muscle building that are happening from hormones. And here what you see is the little kind of diagram of the ATPase. So the glucose goes here, and the ATPs, it has 2 phosphates, it turns into 3 phosphates into that ATPase module, and ADP, adenosine with 3 phosphates basically, is what is the energy source. And this is the money basically. So basically you go into the fat cell, you get the permission to kind of create that transformation, and ATP is the money that will buy you to build your house, which is equivalent to building the muscles in your body. And this is what the ATP looks like. This is a very interesting time reversal mechanism. As you see, the electrons can turn this module clockwise, and by adding a phosphate, and that's ATP. But if there is no protons and no electrons, when there's no glucose that was burned basically, this module spins the other way, anti-clockwise, and turns the ATP into ADP. ADP diphosphate has 2 phosphates. So this phosphate is a very interesting element that basically is time reversal. It's the main aspect that is added to create the energy source. So very interesting, if you look at normal growth hormone, okay, somebody that has normal growth hormone, and somebody that has low or no growth hormone signaling, and you can see how the subcutaneous and the visceral fat are much bigger, and somebody that has high growth hormone signaling. So what we look like has to do with the growth hormone pretty much, and the signals. It has to do with signals, let's put it that way, because it's a lot more complicated than saying it's growth hormone. It has to do with signals. So somebody who is hypothyroid, of course, he is not going to get the same benefit on the gym. And also somebody who is growth hormone deficient, they can be on the gym all day, every day, for years, and get no benefit. Why? Because they are growth hormone deficient. So is it the exercise that does the job? No, it's not the exercise. It's the hormones that are released as a result of the exercise, as a result of the motor nerve that gives the signal to the brain to release the hormones that do this particular effect of lipolysis and muscle hypertrophy. So the exercise is not the whole story. If you want lipolysis and healthy muscle tone, you can do it through signaling. And this is a development of an earlier technology and how the pacemaker, co-inventor of the pacemaker, developed it. And what he did is he looked at neurons in the oscilloscope, and they looked at signals. And he started building a signal that would be equivalent to the signal of the motor nerve. And it took him about 27 years, basically packing frequencies together the way you build a house. So it wasn't one frequency. It was up to 1,000 to 3,000 frequencies that could create that signal to the motor nerve. Well, here is the trick. If a signal is compatible with the central nervous system, then synapses and reaches the brain. But if it's not in sync with the nervous system will discard it. So you can not just throw in any signal and get the same effect. It has to be a signal that is compatible with the nervous system, and that specific signal of the motor nerve. That's why it's such a complex process. So for the brain to do that, you need the correct signal, so to say. And there are billions of incorrect solutions and only one correct solution. That's why it makes this task so difficult. So here what you do is you go from the nerve, and then from the nerve it goes to the brain. The information of strenuous exercise leads the brain to release the hormones. The hormones going to the fat, release the fat, which becomes an energy source, and when you got the energy, then you have the currency, or the money, whatever you want to call it, to kind of start building the muscle. So there is independent research in London University, and what they did is they found that signaling technology, basically signaling to the motor nerve, produces rapid hypertrophy, which is the result of changes in gene expression. And that was after they analyzed the RNA, they found that the gene expression had this particular effect. So the expression involved skeletal genes that are associated with overload, stretch, and physical exercise. So basically, this signaling was similar to physical exercise. Well, nothing is exactly the same as physical exercise. It's like, physical exercise cannot be replaced. It's always going to be, if you do this and also physical exercise, it's going to be much, much better than just signaling alone. And we have seen that as well. Now, what they also looked, there was another study, 43 subjects, 29 females, 14 males, and they looked at the cortisol levels before and after this technology. And what they found is the cortisol levels before and after treatment did not seem to vary very much. So what this means is that this exercise is not strenuous. If the cortisol levels went up, that would mean that there is stressful. Okay, so you have basically effortless exercise, strenuous exercise without the strain. So all, gain without the pain, pretty much. So we have now some clinical studies. The case one was a 45-year-old lady, and she suffered from obesity and diabetes. And what was found is that after 20 treatments, obviously this is a study from India, and the weight went down. Remember, you're exchanging fat with muscle, so weight doesn't really matter as much, but her weight went down, and the fat content was significantly reduced. One of the very interesting results was the diabetes status that she went on oral drugs, so it got improved. But one of the most interesting things, it was the fatty liver and no evidence of fatty liver after the treatment, which again signified that the technology went very deeper to the visceral fat areas, which of course cannot be touched by many different technologies such as lasers and radio frequency or plastic surgery. You cannot do that because it will damage the organs. And there was a significant effect on pain. And this is what this person looked before and after. She did have quite a big difference on the way she looked. Now, a second case study just gave us 42-year-old gentleman, and he lost quite a bit of inches, fat content went down, and this is his picture. Another clinical study, 43-year-old lady, severe obesity and insulin resistance. I want to show you, you see, that's not a very big difference in this particular lady. However, her insulin fasting went from 25.8 to 8.7. Insulin BP went from 136 to 14. And triglycerides went from 294 to 197, almost half. And the good cholesterol increased. So she had significant health benefits from it, even though she lost a little bit, but not that much. I mean, she still looks similar to me. There was another study that was done just on inches. 18 subjects, 12 females, 6 males, and there were 12 treatments from 8-8-10 to 3-9-10. And if you can see, the fat content, the body fat, from the first and the second treatment wasn't that much difference. However, if you compare the first treatment to the last treatment, it was quite significant. Muscle mass also increased significantly, and the water content remained the same, so it's not water loss. This has nothing to do with water. And this is one of the subjects in that particular study. We could not get pictures from most of the subjects, not of the subject. Now, we did a study where we compared this technology with the gym. So, we looked at BMI, and as you can see, everybody did really have significant results. So it's significant if you go to the gym and get significant results. It's just that this technology, in the same period of time, was attained faster results. So more inches lost, water content remained the same. BMI went from 29.9 to 24.8. From in the gym group went from 30.2 to 27.6. Body fat was significantly higher than the gym group, and muscle mass was significantly more increased. But if you look at the significance level, the control group, when you compare them between each other, they were significant. The experimental group were also significant. If you compare, however, the experimental group with the control group and the gym group, you could see that again it was very significant. So this technology just works faster, basically, but in the same fashion. This is another study on the blood, and it shows severe pulpilocytosis on the left before treatment, and erythrocyte separation on the right. And this is the results. You could see significant pupil forms, significant thrombocyte aggregation reduction, bacteria were reduced with